Well, it is 5:16, so let's call this meeting to order. Public Library. Was this host, is Angie with us?
Angie is not.
She's not, but I know it was posted, and so we can confirm that. Statement of public notice. She sent us a couple amended ones. We worked on that, had plenty of time. All right, item number 3, public comments. Are there any public comments?
I have some.
Okay. And are there any public comments on Zoom? I'll take your card.
Are there public comments on Zoom? I thought.
Yes, there are.
There are, okay. So if you are on Zoom, just make sure in the chat you put your name and the city where you're from, so that we have a record of it.
Can the Zoom people see me?
They can. I don't know what they can see, but
No, okay.
they can see. They can hear us.
We can see the trustees and Haley, and that is it.
Okay,
Here, how about now?
sounds good. Well,
Sure. If you slide it over, sure.
do you want to be on screen or do you want to be on?
Yeah.
All right.
These are people too.
Very good.
Oh, you took it.
I got it. Yeah, no, I got it.
Here's
So
a copy for you three.
okay, we have a document here. We can share this later. All right, Dean, you are up first.
Thank you, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
Hi there, everyone.
Hi.
The Shorewood Public Library stands out in the McFliss system. It has a beautiful building, consistently high public service markers, intelligent, friendly staff, a solid financial base, and generally good support from the village board. We are blessed. Since late 2022, the current library board knew there were issues of concern among the library staff and did nothing substantial to resolve them. A year later, almost all senior librarians, many other experienced staff, and at least one recent hire have resigned out of frustration with the lack of communication and action by the board. Let's change course now. Without waiting for results of the village library investigation, where not all current or resigned library employees have been invited to or agreed to participate. Library affairs are the library board's responsibility. Here are some suggestions to help return the Shorewood Public Library to normal operations. Hire an interim library director, a neutral outside consultant. Do not even consider transferring a village employee to manage the library. Tell village employees to stop interfering in library personnel issues. They have no jurisdiction here, even if they have been asked for advice. Tell library employees to stop conferring with village employees. They should solve problems for themselves. Take them to their superiors, or finally, talk with the library board. Address the incident in which 3 library employees destroyed a colleague's property and set a fire in this building, endangering public property and the safety of everyone in the library. 2 of those employees remain on the staff in leadership positions, undermining trust in the board among library staff and the public. Invite every employee who has resigned in the last 6 months to reapply for a position at the Shorewood Public Library to bolster the staff ranks. Have a library board member meet with the entire library staff once a month to address communication and transparency issues, beginning this week. Form a search committee to find the new Shorewood Public Library director, or perhaps hiring a search firm. I will help in every way I can as a volunteer. Thank you for listening. Jean Gurney, Shorewood Public Library patron for 45 plus years, Shorewood Public Library trustee for 12 years, manager of the 2001 successful campaign to raise $1 million in private contributions to build this building and executive director of the Milwaukee Public Library Foundation from 1995 through 2000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So how many on Zoom do we have? I'll just say call out
Hey.
one. I don't see it.
Hey, John, trustee Warren is trying to get on. Someone needs to let him in, please.
Oh. Gotcha. Anyone else there in the waiting room? We accepting it? Wes, glad you could join us. We are doing public comment right now. And if there are people in the chat, just do whoever was in the chat first that said their name.
Was it me?
Yep, Alex.
It was. All right. Go for it.
Okay, I'm Alexander Dimitrov, an 8.5-year member of the library board and a retired professor of library and information science at UWM. I came to the library on Friday, November 3rd, mid-morning to photocopy documents for the ongoing investigation of the Shorewood Public Library workplace. I walked into a staff area, made my copies, and left the area. I passed Angela Andre's desk, stood in front of her while copying, and passed her desk on my way out. At no time did she say anything about my presence. 10 minutes later, I was speaking with a friend by the self-checkout stations. Angela Andre walked out to the circulation desk and said, "You shouldn't be here." I responded childishly with, "You shouldn't be burning dolls." She left. With hindsight, I probably should have asked for permission to walk into the staff area, but after 8.5 years on the board and dozens of times entering the staff area, I assumed no one would feel threatened by my presence. That afternoon, I received an email from Haley Johnson telling me that my library privileges were revoked for 1 year and that I was banned from the Village Center for 1 year for trespassing into library staff space. Several issues come to mind that I'd like to share. Library procedure states that the librarian in charge will give a patron a verbal warning for any violation of the code of conduct. I did not receive such a warning. I do not know who the librarian in charge was at the time, but it was not Angela Andre. 2, I cannot be banned from the Village Center. As a Shorewood taxpayer, I have the right to get a flu shot or vote in the Village Center. This alone should render the revocation invalid. Number 3, the intent of the policy not allowing non-staff persons into staff areas is to protect staff from potentially dangerous or unstable individuals. Common sense should have prevailed. I am a known person to almost everybody that works in that library, and I presented no threat. This was an excessive penalty, the very kind of vindictive and punitive decision-making that has resulted in the chaos that now exists in this library. And last, ironically, just a few days prior to this incident, Ms. Johnson had asked for advice regarding the banning of a patron who was verbally harassing a library employee. This patron, who Ms. Johnson described as, quote, a friend from Cudahy, had been banned once for 90 days, and she didn't want to impose a second, lengthier ban. The disconnect between Ms. Johnson not wanting to ban a patron who was repeatedly harassing a vulnerable staff member, but then casually banning me for a year for walking through a staff space to make a photocopy is striking. I am asking that this revocation of my library privileges be nullified. If the board chooses not to address this in a timely fashion, I will officially appeal to Ms. Johnson. But I tell you, the second step of the appeal is to come right back to the board. And now that's all I have to say, but I would like to say ahead of time, I need to speak during your approval of the September minutes because the changes I requested were not made. And that's it.
We can't take public comment right now. So if you do have a comment on that, I just make it right now. Please.
I sent an email to all the board members for whom I had emails. I asked Angie for them and she did not give me the new guys. But I did send an email to all of you on October 23rd at 4:12 p.m. In number 9, I asked that this sentence be put right at the beginning. Trustee Dimitrov explained to the board that this item was placed on the agenda by Jen Gerber. She thought it would be a closed session. It should be a closed session item, but Jen preferred to have it on tonight's agenda. And that is very important because Jen is still directing things from her end through her 2 lieutenants. And I don't want these minutes to come back at me through whatever process she's going through, saying that I put what should have been discussed in a closed session meeting on an open session agenda. It has to be crystal clear that it was her choice, and I have the email to back it up. And in the last paragraph, that's Trustee Ling's sentence is deleted. His comment is deleted. I asked that the first sentence be replaced with Trustee Dimitrov reiterated that the hiring of the youth services librarian was done without board approval as required by village policy, and that best practice would have been to first post the position. And then Ling made a comment about having a special meeting. That's in there, but deleted in the draft.
Ling's comment is deleted.
I'm not going to tell anyone to delete Ling's comment. Angie did that, probably a typo.
Okay. And just really quickly, the first item you talked about, Alex, which particular agenda item were you talking about?
Number 9. Oh, wait, no, agenda item is approval of, you mean from the September meeting?
John,
It's number
John,
9.
this is Trustee Kudo. I have to object. We're going into agenda items and trying to redo minutes. I mean, this portion of the meeting should be kept to
Wrap it up.
just public comments without, making attacks against current board member or current staff or anything else. I'd ask that we sort of wrap this up
Okay,
and move on to the next item.
very quickly.
So are the changes going to be made?
Do you have a number?
9.
9. Okay, thank you. All right, is there any other public comment on the Zoom? All right. Going once, going twice. All right. Public comment is over. All right, September meeting minutes. We will move, so approve the revised minutes from September 13th, 2013. Angie sent that to us in the board packet. There are several changes that have been made, including, it looks like, one of the larger items last time was the entire letter from Kalia, which I think is included now, although I'm assuming, Angie, this is the letter. It looks like it was copy pasted and it has numbers and things. It looks like we have Lori Burgos is now added to that. That was important to get her attendance on there. Anyway, from what we also had in a change on page 7 of our packet. It does look like the action item number 9. There was not a comment on who decided to put that in there as an action item. Do I have a motion to approve the revised minutes?
Yeah.
From the September 13th, 2023 board meeting.
I move to approve.
Okay. We have a second?
Hagar.
A second, any discussion?
John, I have a quick question. So are these the minutes as they were included in the packet? I'm just getting a little lost in some of the
Yeah.
in some of the back and forth here.
Packet includes the revised minutes.
Okay, the ones that packet that we received a day or two ago.
Yeah, you can see the revisions are in red.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, I think, I'm happy to put in a quick revision on the number 9 possible action youth services librarian that, that trustee Dimitrov said that this was requested from Director Gerber. And if we, with that amendment, I might suggest we put that amendment in there and then everyone's happy about the minutes.
Well, I'm just as an attorney, is that I'm assuming that's factual and that occurred. I just want to make sure that we're not pulling in stuff that's outside of the course of the meeting. I mean, the minutes at the end of the day are meant to reflect what occurred in the meeting, not necessarily a deep background on it. I fully respect the fact that people want it to be explanatory, but at the end of the day, it's meant to reflect the discussion and the discussion only. So if that came up, I'm totally fine with putting it in. If it didn't, I prefer to keep the minutes to the actual meat of the discussion.
Absolutely. I was there. It did happen.
And these were minutes that preceded my involvement on the board, right?
From my recollection, I was, yeah, it did happen. Lori and Carrie, you guys were there too, I think.
It happened. It was also said that it was going to be put into the meeting minutes at that meeting.
And this was the meeting, and this was not the last meeting. This was a meeting before I was on the board.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the September 13th, 2023 meeting.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. I was present and I concur.
Okay.
Again, not to be a stickler on everything, but just to try to get a handle on this. I mean, that this is not agenda sized. The September 13th minutes, right?
I beg your
I
pardon.
guess I have no problem with amending the minutes, but we need to follow laws and regs here. And they're not September 13th minutes aren't agenda sized for this meeting, right?
It's agenda item number 4, September meeting minutes.
Okay, I'm just trying to follow.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Sorry, I'm getting lost in the.
Okay.
I was thinking the October meeting minutes. So
Oh.
sorry.
We are on number 4. Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the meeting minutes December 13th with the discuss amendment to action item number 9.
All right, I'll second it. All in favor to approve the September meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
This is trustee Kudo. I was not there, so I'm going to abstain.
I'm in the same boat. So
Makes good sense. All right, motion passes 4-0. All right, consent agenda. Number 5, consent agenda. Approve the agenda from this meeting. Minutes from October 11th, 2023, statistics report, accounts payable reports. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve.
All right, Karen moves to approve. I see it here a second.
I do.
Elvira, any discussion? Seems like a long time ago. Okay, all in favor of approving the agenda and the minutes from October 11th, 2023, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Again, this is trustee Kudo. I'm going to abstain.
yeah, kind of the same deal for me. Sorry for
No problem. Okay. Motion carries. All right, now we will run agenda item number 6, election of officer. I had to look up how we do this. So essentially, we're going to, I think we're gonna first do nominate, we're gonna do president first and then vice president. I'm gonna open up the floor to nominations from the floor. And then we can kind of, then I'll close nominations, and then discuss, and then we can reopen nominations if need be, and then we'll vote. To close nominations, we need a second and a 2/3 vote. And to reopen, if we want to, it needs a second and a majority. So right now, we will be running an election of the officer for president of the board of trustee of the library board, Shorewood Library Board of Trustees. The president of the Shorewood Library Board of Trustees. I'll open nominations from the floor for position of president.
I guess I would, I was thinking about this, and I think that it's important to tie the village board. And also, John, I think you're so valuable on the committees, and seeing how the president can't serve.
Oh, I think we dropped you.
Who's speaking?
That was Wes.
That's Wes.
It looks like, yeah, he's still lit up too. Is that us? Oh, your connection is unstable.
Yeah, that's us.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, sorry, I think that was us. All right, I can hear you now. All right, start over, please.
I was just saying, I was thinking about the connection to the village board, in addition to John, your experience on this board, and the fact that the president can't serve on any subcommittees. And I think that I think the library board is maybe best served by Eric serving as president. So I'm moving to nominate Eric. I think that gives us the best of both worlds in terms of both the tie to the board and John having your expertise on subcommittees, which we'll desperately need.
Okay, I have a quick correction. The library board president actually serves on every committee as ex officio vote, not no committees. They're on every single.
Oh.
Just, but they're not chair of any committee. And that is, yeah, our bylaws say yes, the library board president cannot be chair of any committee, but is an ex officio voting member of every single committee.
Got it.
This is Kara. I would nominate John as president of the library board. He has the most experience out of everyone here, except Elvira, who my understanding is you did not want to be president. So in lieu of that, I would nominate John for his experience and his longstanding commitment to the board already.
Thank you. Any nominations? Okay, do I have a motion to close nominations?
I move to close nominations.
We need a second.
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 Okay. All right. All in favor of closing the nominations, say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. Now we will do discussion of our nominees. And I think the floor is open, especially people that I don't think have nominated or love to hear from everyone.
I think
First time noting it. Yeah,
Oh, is that us again?
that's us again. Nice and normal.
Oh, man.
Elvira, we can't hear you right now.
right. No, I can hear you.
Okay,
there you
all
came
right.
back.
Oh, I think he came back now.
Okay, great. Great. So would you mind repeating the last part that you said, because I didn't hear it? Your last phrase or sentence.
Oh, it was just your kind of internet connection with us went out. So
okay.
If you could just start from the top, that'd be great.
Okay.
Elvira, did you have something to say?
No, no. I mean, again, I didn't hear you, so I don't know what to respond.
Oh, okay, we're discussing the nominations now for library board president.
Right, yes. And I think you have, didn't you propose John?
Yes, I'm on the nomination and so is Eric Kuto.
Yes. So I second that.
We're just discussing it now, if you have thoughts. If you
Okay.
don't-
Jonathan, I have a clarifying question. Is this for the duration of the term? So meaning until June?
Yes, it would be until June.
And then we would reorganize again?
Yeah. Well, Eric, do you have any thoughts you'd like to share?
I would defer to you first, sir. I mean, we should probably say something. So,
Yeah,
but you're the acting president, so please feel free to go first.
okay, I guess I didn't mean to cut out Kara if you had another comment at all.
I guess one thing I'll say, in addition to John being, a senior member of the board already, I am concerned that, being library president would be a bit of a conflict of interest for Trustee Kudo. And also, right now, relations with many village or library staff members with the villages so there's some tension there. And I don't think appointing Trustee Kudo as president would help alleviate those tensions.
Sorry, I'm trying to cook in the background.
Yeah,
But I would kind of take, and again, like I understand your concern, but I might take the other route and say, one of the ways to alleviate the tension would be to have Trustee Kudo lead the library board. I think that, like as I see it, the library is kind of an arm of the village, and we want to have that relationship as strong as possible. And to the extent, I don't know the history. I have only been on the board it's my second meeting, but I want to make sure we build that relationship and build that muscle. Because we need to find a good way to move the library forward. So that was the reason for my nomination, and certainly not out of any kind of lack of confidence in anyone here. But I just want to make sure we build that relationship and make it strong.
sure. Thank you.
So we
Well,
might have like a issue here with this.
okay, it says our meeting will end in 10 minutes. Can we extend it? How? I don't want to cut anything off.
I have another quick question since I don't know if people can hear me, but so in terms of Wesley and Eric, your terms on the board, again, just confirming the duration of these terms, are you fulfilling the existing terms of the former trustees? I'm just thinking time frame, because at first, thank you both for being willing to do this, Eric and Jonathan. And I think there's a benefit. I can see benefits of both candidates, so we're in a really good place in that sense. I do see, benefit in Jonathan and continuity. At the same time, I also think that there's some righting of the ship or calming of the waters that needs to happen between now and June, and perhaps having Eric and a closer tie with the village could help with that, knowing that in June we're going to reorganize again anyhow. So I don't know for what it's worth, but thank you to both of you, because I think we're in a good place.
I think I could probably answer both of those. So one, my understanding is that both Wesley and I are fulfilling the terms of the two board members. And based on my conversations with the village president, I fully expect to be renominated for this position from the village board come April. So there should be a level of continuity between now and at least the election in June for new officers.
Thank you.
Really
Of course.
think that that's the case. I would say, you know, the time between now and June would be sufficient, you know, for us to kind of work together more, or I'd feel more comfortable, you know, supporting your candidacy for president. But, you know, a month in, I just can't at this point.
No, I totally respect that. I get it.
Yeah, so real quick, so, Eric, again, yeah, thanks for running and being willing to do it. I'll just quickly say that I think it is becoming abundantly clear that the library board needs to stay independent. If the village was supposed to run the library, we wouldn't have a library board. It would just be the village board that's running this. So we have state statutes and rules and laws requiring independent library boards for good reason. And one of the reasons is to just keep it out of politics. I think the library board president should speak for the library board. And if there's any conflict of interest out there, like running a village board, and that require, you know, and the statements you make there could be confused with what the library board thinks. And I think that's pretty that can be problematic, not necessarily. I also think when, for instance, if you're running for re-election and you're talking about, and you're talking to people about things, they may construe your comments as representative of what the library board thinks instead of you know, campaigning. These are just examples that come to mind, I think, where I really appreciate, and I welcome and appreciate a member of the village board on this library board. I think taking the leadership function away and combining that is really against what the state laws are attempting to do. And I really think just cosmetically, from if you just step back and look at what's happening here, I think it's vital to maintain our independence, this library board's independence. For the library director to speak for the library board and only the library board, and to not have any conflicts of interest. I'll just say, you know, for instance, if like a lawyer representing the village sends the library board something, hypothetically, and Trustee Kuto is president on one and a representative on the other, you know, you can't, what side are you on? Like if there is a side, if there are like lawyer letters like going back and forth, things like that. And to me, I would just say we don't need confusion. I think it's just like, let's just be independent like the law intends. So that would be my quick pitch.
No, I mean, I respect that. I mean, listen, it's. I think from my perspective, the law very clearly states, the statutes very clearly state that library boards are appointed and approved by village boards. It's a function that has existed for quite some time, and I'm sure will exist well into the future. You know, I don't think it is coming as a surprise to anyone that I am on this board and Wesley is on this board because there were some serious issues that occurred at the library. And, you know, the function of the president is not to, in my opinion, micromanage the daily operations of the library. That's why the library has a director. The library board president is an administrative position, as far as I'm concerned, setting meeting agendas, running meetings, making sure that policies are being followed through, not by themselves, of course, but in consultation and in working with all the other members of the library board of trustees. It's not a conflict of interest because the village board and the library board are so completely and intimately intertwined, either through the appointment process or the budgeting process, or the fact that the library uses the village's payroll and HR functions. I think it's high time that we, the library board, the village board, the village, sort of come together and start working together and stop thinking that we are so siloed and isolated, sort of into our own camps. I mean, the library, the success of the library is on all of us, right? And I would no more speak for the library board as one individual, as the president, than President McCaig would necessarily speak for the entire village board in Shorewood. I mean, I am a member of the village board. I am not the president of the village board. I do not have the authority to speak on behalf of the village board. When thinking about this, and thinking about what Wesley said, there are a lot of things that need to happen at this library in the next 6 to 8 months that frankly will go a long way, I think, in reassuring staff that they're supported, reassuring the interim director, potentially a new director, that they're supported. It's not necessarily about what might happen down the road. If there's a conflict between the village board and the library board, that's something for attorneys to figure out. That's something for someone else to worry about. Right now, what we have to do is we have to right the ship at the village library. We have to work together, not only amongst ourselves, but frankly with the library, with the village board and village administration, to make sure that this library is the library that it can be and has been in the past. And so, I don't look at this as a permanent position at all. I would very much like to do this for the next 8 months until the elections in June, and then hopefully pass this on to someone else. But right now, I think that we are in a sort of emergency break glass situation as an institution. And I want to make sure that, moving forward, we have